Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another video. This is about Pisces season. I'm Mark. Been getting a few messages. So, as I said, this is about navigating through the next 3 to 4 weeks through Pisces season. It's a general reading. If you happen to come across this, it's possibly for you. Some messages within the video for some people, other messages for other people. So take what resonates for you and what's useful for you. Other things I say may be useful for you down the track. Now, upon reflecting on this season, Spirit brought to my mind the fact that the Pisces symbol is often portrayed as two fish going in two different directions. I think I've also seen it where there's two fish going, like this fish is going that way around that circle, and this fish is, so it's like two fish chasing each other, which suggests chasing your own tail. But they kept showing me in particular two fish going in two different directions. It's a water sign. Pisces is a water sign. And so we're talking today about the influence that this season in particular this year is having upon us and upon our lives, and how to navigate through that. And so it's a water sign, so it's about the emotions, it's about creativity, it's about expression, but it's about emotions. And in particular, what Spirit was giving me was that very strongly the emotions affecting the mind. So your emotions potentially affecting the way that you perceive things and decisions that you make. And when I'm seeing the fish going in this way, it's a sign of duality and therefore contradiction as well, and of potential feeling two different ways, two different conflicting ways about something or someone or some place. The other sign that is dual is Gemini, and that's two people. So Gemini, and that's an air sign. So Gemini is very much can be indecisive, of two minds about any given thing. Pisces are of two minds in that they are affected by how they feel about any given thing. And so it's very much for Pisces, it's the emotion. So I feel that I want to go in this direction, but I feel conflicting emotions in regard to me going in that direction. So there's potential for inner conflict and confusion. Feeling drawn in two directions at the same time. It's not so much about it is about decision making, but it's not so much about making choices between two or more things. That was clarified by Spirit. It's more, I know what I want to do, but I feel this way about it. Yeah? I know what I want to do, but I feel this way about it. So Spirit's saying the way you feel about it, or about this person or place or thing, it's have a look in, because it may well be the main emotion that came up was pride. If I move in the direction that I want to move in and know that I should move in, or whatever the right words are for you, what do I have to give up? What do I have to sacrifice about myself? Do I have to eat humble pie? Do I need to eat crow? You know what I mean? We're not talking about eating the animal, but we're talking about humbling oneself in order to step in the right, in order to be able to step in the right direction for myself. Yeah, so it might be pride, ego, holding on to resentment or anger, but again, that resentment and anger is attached to your pride. My pride was hurt because it was pointed out to me that my behaviours don't reflect how I actually feel. My behaviours are hurtful when I'm trying to communicate to people that I care for example. I don't want to give too many examples on that because I'll just make it more confusing, and this is about clarity, not confusion, right? So just don't be surprised during this period if you feel pulled in different directions, even though you know which way you're headed, that you emotionally feel like you are holding on to emotions that prevent you from moving in the direction you want to move in. Put it that way. Okay, so for some people you might get an ego check, you might get encouraged through circumstances that happen in your life or within yourself. You might get encouraged to reflect on the past and how you've conducted yourself, or how other people have conducted themselves, that's preventing you from moving forward in the direction you want to go in. Whether you have let in the past, or whether you're currently still allowing for your holding on to your an outdated perception of yourself or an outdated perception of a situation, that like your ego is sort of like saying, well, no, I've got to hold on to this because this is who I am. This is the person that I am. And I said what I said because that's who I am. But is that actually who you are today? Do you stand by that today? Is it your ego and pride that's stopping you from relinquishing, of letting go, so that you can go with the flow of who you are today? Yeah? Spirit's saying the main advice was get your fish, whether they're going that way or that way or that way, get your fish lined up so that you can flow with creative expression and expressing creatively. So finding new ways of getting your message across, whether it's to people or to a work environment or whatever it is, family or whatever, or within your relationships. And when they told me that, they said it's like getting your ducks lined up. So get yourself in order, sort yourself out so that you're not conflicted within yourself, because if you force yourself to, and this is why they keep saying go with the flow, because if you force yourself in a certain direction which you know would be good for you, or that you should do, or whatever the right words are, but you haven't yet humbled yourself or admitted to yourself where you conducted yourself in the wrong way, or you're not willing to take accountability for something, but you still want to forge forward in that direction, then it's like swimming through a doorway, but the door gets shut on your tail. It'll be a false starter. Okay? And so they showed me, they're saying, line your ducks up, get your ducks lined up in a row. That means get organised, be prepared for what you have to do, your preparation for what you have to do within yourself in the background, so that when you do move forward, you are ready, you are in the right mindset, you are, your two fish are headed in the same direction rather than contradicting yourself emotionally, being emotionally or mentally conflicted. Because you want to move in the direction you want to move in because of your heart. It's a heart thing. It's an emotional pull that you have in the direction that you want to go in, even if it's to do with work or whatever else. You feel drawn to this person, place, or thing, or towards this action, towards taking this action. That's coming from a very genuine place, and you know that. But if you haven't sorted yourself out and released the old versions of you, aspects of the old version of you, if you haven't fully released the very things that caused conflict in the first place, then you're just going to cause conflict again because you're still conflicted within yourself. So it's like they're saying, get right with yourself before you take action. And when you take action, it's about going with the flow rather than punching forward and making a big, trying to make a big impression of anything. I feel to say for some people, it's like if you just say, oh, bugger it, I don't want to do the groundwork. I don't want to do the having to reflect. I don't want to have to swallow my pride or disengage with my overactive ego. I've always operated that way. That's who I am. That's part of the defensiveness of keeping it, right? And so I'm just going to make a big splash, and people are going to see it, or this person's going to notice it, or they're going to, I'm going to make a big impact movement, and then what will be will be. Well, that's kind of reckless and immature, is what they're saying. You won't get the outcome that you want. People will see it as a performance. So don't do anything in this Pisces season that feels performative. Do it because you are coming from the heart, and do it because you've thought about it, you've reflected on it, you've done all your background work and research and whatever else before you've taken action, before you've even given your tail the first swish that propels you forward, to make sure that you're coming from internally, coming from a really solid place. And then that will show in your actions. So if you're in the workplace, for example, and you're trying to get your boss to understand that you really want this new position that's opened up, or that you want to fill the shoes of someone who's left, or whatever the scenario is, for example, if you were to impulsively jump forward because your desire is strong, if you don't disengage the ego and your pride and all the behaviours that stem from that, you're gonna make an impulsive move. Your communication is going to come across as flaky and impulsive. Your boss is not going to see it as a legitimate offer of interest or expression of interest, and people are going to sort of look at you with a bit of stink eye. They're kind of going to look at you a bit suspect, but you are actually coming from the right place. But what puts them off is they can smell it's a bit fishy, right? And they can smell that because you haven't done your internal work to make sure that moving forward, it's not just one splashing action. That's not enough. You're going to need to be consistent and, what's the word? You're going to have to go the long haul with this. You can't just show a few spikes of energy or interest in something and then it just lands in your lap. And if it does, you won't last in that position if you don't get yourself sorted. Because when you're in it, if you get it, when you're in it, you're going to conduct yourself in a manner that's going to come from these things of the past, these emotions that don't fit the new you. So you don't get to have the new you until you've done your emotional bookkeeping, you've done your, if you've been an aggressor in a situation, then show humility, show reflection. And I don't mean show it for others, because that again is performative. Do the work that nobody can see. It's what you do when you're on your own, when no one can see you. That makes all the difference, because that cleans up the subconscious mind. It cleans up things that no longer serve you, character traits, behaviors that no longer serve you because they were attached to or formed by past trauma, right? And so that's why we say do your emotional bookkeeping or do your shadow work, whatever the right words are for you, to be able to sit with yourself and come true with yourself. It's like being able to come to a solid place about the things that have happened in the past, so that the behavioural traits and personality traits that you had adopted at the time to be able to cope get left back there, that you don't carry that forward with you. And the last video I did, if you haven't seen it, please watch it. I talked about that, not carrying the stuff of the past, the burdens of the past in terms of your own psyche and your own energy from the year of the snake into the year of the horse. It's going to weigh you down. It's going to stop you from really propelling forward. And so here we are again with that message again. So it really is, as much as the year of the horse is about striving forward and going places with passion. If you don't do, like, get in the bath and reflect, go out in nature and reflect, do some writing and reflect, yeah, and release stuff. Anything that's bothering you, things that have, any loose ends, yeah, any unfinished business, sort it out within yourself before you act. And act in a way that's more going with the flow of things, because when you do that, you're taking into account all of the variables within your environment or within the environment that you're stepping into. You're able to halt or swivel or whatever you need to do, the way the fish do, in order to navigate your way through there, rather than being strong-minded, hard-headed, or doing anything performative like, well, I'm just going to show my interest by doing this grand gesture, and then we'll see what happens. If it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's not, it's not. And then when it's not, you won't even take accountability for it, because you're leaving it up to the universe or up to the person who needs to make a decision as to whether you go forward or whether you're accepted or whatever the words are. The fact remains that you won't get what you want because you haven't done your homework. You haven't done the hidden stuff, the shadow stuff. You haven't sorted your emotions out. You haven't gotten clear in yourself before you've acted. Okay, so that's the main message. If you want to support yourself on a energetic level through this season, spend time in the bath, or if the weather's right, put your feet in a pond, or give yourself a foot bath, or go to the beach, or find a waterfall or something, a body of water, or go and sit on a wall facing the ocean, or get your toes in the water, whatever you need to do, like get in the water. That will encourage flow state. It will encourage the washing away of the old. Okay? And wearing blue will help as well, because blue will activate your throat chakra and help you to be more creatively expressive. Whether to express your creativity or to creatively express. All right? The other thing is I'm getting is orange, and so that's the chakra, that's the solar plexus, I believe. That's what I'm being told right now. Get in tune with your gut instinct. Have a look. That's what we say with reflecting. Have a look at what's going on in your guts. What have you got on your chest that you haven't expressed yet or haven't released yet? What are you holding in your guts? Yeah? So this person or position, or like, is there some kind of hidden resentment? if you're wanting to act towards someone and there's any just even a scraping of resentment towards that person, or I'm going to step forward, I'm going to do the right thing, I'm going to humble myself, I'm going to whatever, but I resent them for it, don't do it. Sort out your resentment. Have a look at what you're holding on to that's making you feel that you want to step towards them or whatever it is, but you feel resentment for having to do it, or you feel resentment for having to show up in a certain way. Like if that's how you're starting off, don't even do it. Go back to your homework and have a look. Have a look at yourself. Have a look at what's going on within you. Be really emotionally honest with yourself so that you're able to be honest moving forward, and that will show through your actions and your words. Okay, so there's an element of emotional maturing that needs to happen here, and you'll only do that by doing some rock solid, like really being there for yourself, rock solid reflecting and allowing yourself to feel the associated emotions and get your head, as much as your emotions, get your head around understanding why you feel certain ways and why certain behaviours that you've had to exhibit or learn to do in the past in order to cope are no longer needed today. So it's like a knight in shining armour carrying his sword and his shield and whatever else for battle. He's needed that in the past, doesn't need it where he's going. The war's over. Yeah? So by doing your inner work, your shadow work, your reflection, you can work out, well, yeah, I am very defensive. I can be very cutting at times with my sword, very defensive with my armor. I can be really pushy and self-protective, put a lot of energy into self-protection with my shield. And so those things moving forward are not going to work because this is a very different environment, or this is a very different person, or whatever it is. I don't actually need these things, but I'm scared. And so sit with your fear, let yourself feel it, and reflect on where that came from, what happened in the past in your life. Perhaps it may show you, it may come up for you for some people, and for some people it won't. You're just meant to feel the emotion. Maybe it'll show up later. But releasing the associated emotions that have forged your way of being, that's no longer needed. It's releasing the old. It's the final shedding of the snake's skin. You see how it all ties in? We have to let go of it. One more, thanks, Spirit. Okay, and you're telling me, yeah, middle. Okay. So we have here the Emperor, the Moon, and the Hierophant. And I was told specifically to put the top card right there in the middle. Because this is, for me, the Moon is the emotional bookkeeping card, the shadow work card, the I'm not quite right with myself, with my emotions, and I need time to reflect on things and to release said emotions. I need to allow myself to feel and heal. Okay? You heal through feeling. When you suppress your feelings, there's no healing. You have to put yourself in a place where you feel safe at home, comfortable, whether it's in the bath or on the couch or in bed or whatever, and just allow the thoughts to pass through your mind, whatever needs to pass through, and then allow yourself to feel the associated emotions, okay? And releasing any resentment, any anger, any whatever. And it's not that, no feelings are bad, okay? We just have to acknowledge them in ourselves, understand why they're there. And in that process, sometimes we actually get shown, if it was to do with another person or other people, sometimes it can be, decades later, but sometimes we get shown a different perspective of how that person, of why that person was conducting themselves the way they were. And we get to understand that, you know, we don't just take people by the energy that they push towards us. So if they were scolding us, for example, upon deeper reflection, you might actually see, well, that person felt out of control in that moment. And so they had to be forceful with me in order to feel that they could maintain some kind of control that they haven't had in their lives in other areas. Yeah, so they're compensating for other sort of shortcomings in their lives. And then we can have compassion and empathy and say, well, okay, I didn't like what they did, but I understand now a little bit more of perhaps why they did what they did. Doesn't condone it, but da-da-da. And so then you're able to release a lot of emotions that way. Just saying, take a deep dive. We're talking about the fish today. Take a deep dive in the ocean, that is your emotion, and see what you can set free, let go of, okay? And that will be extremely transformative for you. In the past, there have been a lot of sort of trials and tribulations, a lot of challenges, a lot of things that have really challenged our strength, challenged our, made us question our own character at times. But you've come out the other end of this. You're in a place right now where you're solid with who you are because of the things that have happened. It's like when we're put through a bit of chaos and turmoil or instability, that's when we come out the other end of it more definitive, more defined, more aware of who we are and what we're about, what we want and what we don't want. Maybe we've just experienced what we don't want. We thought we wanted it, or what we didn't want was a byproduct of what we were seeking. And so we're much more clearer today of what it is that we want and don't want, what we stand for, what we will move on and what we will not. We have to go through this transformative period, through the emotion, through the uncomfortability of our own insecurities and pain and whatever else, and releasing all of that stuff so that we can come to a place that is super solid. And this is someone who not just knows themselves, but someone who is a master of their own life. And the Emperor is that, absolutely. But see, that's 4, this is 5. So we're going up a notch, okay? And this is about being able to passionately make decisions, being very definitive in terms of how you want your life to be. From the moment you get up in the morning, to where you live, to where you take yourself for work, or how you work, or how long you work, or every detail, even your diet, your exercise routine, everything about your life, every decision ever to be made about the structure, how your day is structured. This is the card for that. So really knowing what you want and what you don't want, and being able to create a life for yourself, to change your behavioural patterns, to change your routine, your day-to-day routines, to change your diet, your exercise regime, to change the way you work, whatever it is, whatever changes you have to make. They will be in accordance with the transformation that you've undergone by doing the emotional work, okay? And then you actually become the master who's able to actually offer advice to other people about how to step forward and manifest what they want. And we've got here the Hanged Man underneath the deck. So this represents a shift in perception because of the transformation, because of the releasing of what no longer serves us, because we have to allow ourselves to feel it, to heal it. I keep saying that because that's what keeps coming through. I might be talking to people who and this is not everyone, there's certain people who need to hear it this way, in 5 different times, maybe in 5 different ways, to understand the importance of it. Because a lot of this is the unseen. The moon is about what's hidden, what's unseen. You can put on your best face. You'd be wearing a mask out in the world. It's not how you truly feel. It's not how you're not backing yourself up when you go into an environment and you have to wear a mask because you haven't done your work. You haven't done your crying in the bath or in the bed or on the couch or on the floor or out in the garden. Like, do your crying, do your feeling, punch into your pillow, do your writing. If you do writing, I want to say to you, do any journaling at all around expression of emotions, whether it's directed at a person or just about events that took place and how you felt about it, or any emotional expression. Write it, do not read it, tear it off the pad, rip it up in a million pieces, or go outside and burn it, or throw it in your fireplace, however you want to do it. I would not bury it in the ground. Some people have been saying that in the past to do that. Don't bury in the ground your emotions. So release it, burn it, tear it up, throw it away without rereading it. Okay? And then if you do that work, the stuff that nobody can see behind closed doors, or go to a therapist if you need, counselling, or you need someone to listen to you, find a good friend who's not going to put their 2 bob in it to confuse things further. They're actually just going to allow you to express yourself. Whatever it is that you need to do for yourself, go and talk to a tree. Seriously, put your palm on the tree and talk to the tree. If you are spiritually inclined, that you have a God, source, universe, whatever, your angels, your ancestors, speak to them out loud or in your mind. It's up to you. And just release and feel what you have to feel. Then you won't be wearing a mask moving forward because you're not carrying any emotional weight from the past with you. It's really like there's no messing around anymore. Spirit is getting really serious with us now in terms of we will not moving forward be taken by what we look like, how things appear on the surface, on the outside. If we are putting a smile on our face but we're crying inside, that's going to be sensed by the environment or the people with which we engage. Okay? So they're saying there's not just no better time, there's no more, what is the word? No more important time than now to get uncomfortable with yourself and let yourself feel what you haven't been wanting to feel. Okay? I know some people just run away from that stuff, or they don't see the importance of it because they see the power in their mask wearing or their shield or all that sort of stuff. And it's like, it's not going to work anymore. You've got to be legit. You've got to be legit moving forward. Okay? And through that process, what they're saying is that you're going to not only transform in your perception of things, but you're going to transform your perception of opportunities you have around you. You're going to start looking at things in a different way once you've cleared your emotional baggage. And this is not an overnight thing. They're saying that in this period, in this Pisces season in particular, but it could but it could go on. You may need longer than just 1 month, right? To do your emotional bookkeeping, make it part of your day-to-day or weekly routine from here on in. Let that be one of the things that you bring into your routine that supports you so that you stay emotionally clear in yourself, as clear as you can be at any given time. Hold yourself accountable for how you're feeling, or different thoughts that you've caught yourself having at work or in your relationship or with family or whatever. Different reactions you've had to people's other actions or words, and you catch yourself thinking these things or doing these things. And when you go home, you reflect on it, make it part of your routine to do your emotional bookkeeping. Don't just do it when your life falls apart or something in your life falls apart. And that's going to free you up. As I said in the last reading I did, it will free you up to be able to perceive things and recognize opportunities that perhaps you didn't recognize before. Okay? I'm sorry if I'm coming across a bit harsh today, but that's what Spirit's saying. If you haven't done it yet, you better get onto it, because you're not going to have the life you want if you're carrying remorse, guilt, resentment, grief with you. And if you're saying to me right now, I have been doing this, I've been doing this for the last year or the last 2 years or the last 6 months, and some of it is still with me. I'm not trying to put fear into you that if some of it's still with you, that you're not going to have a good life. It's so long as you're doing it for as long as it takes. For some people it can be days, weeks, months or years. It doesn't mean that you won't have what you want to have in your life, just because you recognize within yourself that there's still some emotions that you haven't been able to fully, release. It's like every time you do this work, it's like peeling off another layer of the onion. Eventually you get to the core of it. Yeah? But while you're doing it, you still earn the right to move forward with what you want. Okay? And if it doesn't quite work out the way you want, it may be reflecting one of those emotions or triggering one of the emotions that you have been working on. And so then it will help you to dig deeper in that. I'm talking about people who run away from feeling anything, that keep telling themselves, oh, I'm fine, I can put a smile on my face, I can function at work, I can turn up to these family events and put a smile on my face, no one can tell. That's not living, and it won't work moving forward. This is about moving into your true authentic self without the burdens of the past. Again, thank you. So we have the world tree even. So I talked about the tree, death, transformation, and the high priestess. And so in the hidden here, it's the things that I've been talking about. And so see how this looks, or I don't know if you can see it, but it's like skeletons or dead snakes or bones or whatever. I don't know if you can see that. And that's under the world tree. So it's the world card, particularly in that deck, is going full circle, as I described in the last reading, going full circle, the end of a cycle, being set free. You get to enjoy the sun because you go into the moon. So you delve into your emotions, and that frees you up to be able to leave the shackles of the past behind. Okay? We're not supposed to be carrying this stuff with us into the new era. Okay? Or into anything new that we're trying to create in our lives or step towards. This here, there were endings. There's been a lot that you have released in the past. There's a lot of transformation that you've already been through. This is like the tying up. Remember, I was talking in the last video about the Temperance card, where she's come out of the rough waters, and she can see the path to her left. I think she can see the path forward to her pot of gold or to her happiness. But she's standing between the water and her new path, and she's passing water between one chalice to another. And so it represents tying up loose ends, processing, reflecting, getting myself right, a moment of repose, if that's the right word, to get myself right before I embark on my new endeavours, so that I don't carry this energy with me into my new stuff. Okay? So there's been a lot of transformation and a lot of clearing that's happened already. And they're saying, just tie up your loose ends, do this final release that you need to do to get to this next level. And then the High Priestess, is about really leveling up, really stepping up. And you've got the energy of, I think it's Swan there, really stepping up and being able to, it's like again, we've got the moon, your emotional bookkeeping, your ability to do emotional bookkeeping and get real with yourself and allow yourself to feel unsafe and insecure and fearful, pardon me, and angry and this or that and whatever else, and to release that guilt and grief and resentment and all that stuff. Your ability to sit with yourself and do that stuff, or to go to a counsellor or someone and do that stuff, becomes your strength. That becomes your strength. Emotion is not weakness. Everyone hides that stuff because it's weakness. They hide expressing true emotion because it comes across as weakness. It ain't. Your ability to acknowledge that stuff, and even more importantly, express it, firstly to yourself, is strength. Weakness is forcing yourself to carry it in a knapsack on your back and just forge forward. You think that's strong? That's not strong. It's at the risk of sounding judgmental. It's stupid. It's outdated. It's no longer, like, it was never useful. It really isn't. It really isn't useful. So this really is about leveling up. You can see the outcome is awesome in both cases. And this, the purple is just, it's spirituality. It's being like the highest version of you, or, stepping up into a higher version of you, of yourself, so that you can shine. You can shine your light in the darkness. And the card underneath the deck is the Warrior. And this is because we're getting ready for Aries season. I'm not saying this is an Aries card, but the Aries are very much single-minded and the lone wolf in some cases. They know what they want, they know what they don't want, exactly what we've been talking about. So we're being prepared for that. I was talking about the sword and the shield and the armour and all that kind of stuff. This is a different sort of energy to that. So, I'll do what I did before. In reference to the transformation of the tree and the letting go, again here we've got the death with this, I think it's called a scythe or scythe, or scythe. And here the warrior has the sword, so cutting away. It's like if you've got a tree with dead branches on it and it's struggling to put on new growth. It needs the old wood, the dead wood, cut out so that it can really replenish itself and have the energy, rather than it trying to hang on to diseased or rotten wood or dead wood that can bring disease to the trunk, the foundations of the tree, to actually cut them out, and then the tree gets to really enliven itself and grow. And that's what the sword is being used for here, cutting away anything that no longer serves you. Cutting away, letting go of what no longer serves you. Very much like the Chariot energy. Cutting away what no longer serves you. And then that frees you up to step up and to shine and to know what your strength is. When you can be at your most vulnerable with yourself, then you are able to feel much more free and strong out in the world without any masks or pretense and no fakery. Yeah? That's when you're really able to show your face and really say, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, this is what I represent and what I hold dear. Okay? I will leave it there. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you wish to do. It just helps other people to see the video, so hopefully it can help more people. I hope this has put you in good stead, some things to think about and reflect upon. And this is for all of us. And as I said, take what resonates with you. If you felt uncomfortable about anything I said around reflecting, doing your emotional bookkeeping or your shadow work, then perhaps there's something in there for you. Okay? Have a great day or evening wherever you are, and stay healthy and happy. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit.